Hello everyone, I'm Kyterin, and this is my 13th Talk to Me Tuesday. I've been kind of delinquent. I haven't made one since September of 2010. I didn't realize it had been quite that long ago. But anyway, so I'm a little delinquent, and here is my 13th Talk to Me Tuesday. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is the thing I've been doing the most of lately, and that is that I just bought an Asian ball-jointed doll, a BJD. Ellaby and I bought one at the same time, and we just got them, and I want to show you. They are cast in resin, and they came from a company called Resin Soul in China, and this is mine. I've tentatively named her Emma. What makes BJDs different than other kinds of dolls is that they're cast in resin, and they are each an individual sculpt, so her face and body and things is completely different than any other kind of sculpt that you can get. And they come without hair or eyes, so you can fully customize them. And so I got a wig. The wig came from Korea, and new eyeballs. She came with a random set of yellowy gold colored eyes that were really pretty cool. But I wanted some light green ones, which I don't know if you can see the color. I've been knitting a ton for her lately. I made this scarf that she's wearing, and I made a little matching hat that goes with it. The hat's a little bit big for her because I made it before we actually had her, so I wasn't sure of her measurements. And I made the t-shirt that she's wearing. It's a little bunched up. I don't really know how to sew. I'm sort of teaching myself as I go with a lot of tutorials and things online. So this was a t-shirt that used to be Katie's that had a stain on it. It had a fairy on the front, so we cut it up and made t-shirts from it with. And I made this corduroy skirt for her out of a pair of carpenter pants that I used to have that got a hole in them. Did not make the socks, but they are the cutest things ever. I bought those on Etsy. So, she's cute little socks. And I made her a lace shawl because it's cold in New Hampshire and didn't want her to be cold. It's a simple lace panel that I got from a Stitch dictionary. I had a lot of fun making that one. And I made her a little skirt with kind of a little slit in the back. Made that from an old pair of my jeans. So far we haven't bought very much new fabric. We've been recycling a whole lot. This is the thing I'm kind of most excited about, is I made an entire pair of real pants for her. They even have darts up at the top. You can see right there, darts. I was very excited. They have a little bit of shaping. They're a little messy on the top, but I didn't really have a pattern, so I was kind of winging it. And a little flared at the bottom. So she has little pants. And I knit her a sweater. This is the first thing I knit for her before I actually had her, so before I knew what her actual measurements would be. This was from measurements that I found online. And it's knit with Socks That Rock sock yarn. Little bitty raglan type thing with a teeny tiny button on the back. It looks really cute on her. And I made her a little granny square blanket, which kind of leads into my next project, which is a GrannyADay for 2012. So this was my very first granny square, and this is sock yarn again. This was a random sample that I got, I think in a swap. I don't remember where I got it from, but the middle is that sock yarn. And GrannyADay. That's another project I'm doing. It's where you try to make a granny square, one for every day of 2012, so that'll be 366 because it's a leap year. And I'm not trying to do one each single day. I figured I would try and get as many as I could done right now because I'll get busy later on in the year and I don't want to fall behind. So I've made more than 10, even though today's just the 10th, so I'm going to show you some of those. I made this one. I'm making them all from coordinating colors. I'm using up stash and scraps and things like that. So here's one set of 9 right there. There we go. I've got it in the frame. So I'm using the single crochet join to put them together because I hate sewing squares together. Here's another one. These ones are sort of organized. I made colors and things like that sort of somewhat intelligently. I ran out of pink, so I couldn't do any more of the pink that is in the corner over here. And this is the other set that I have done right now. So, coordinating colors but not matching exactly the same squares, kind of whatever I feel like on the day at the time. And I plan to put a bunch of these together and then hopefully donate a lot of the blankets that I will end up making over the course of 366 squares. So, there we go. GrannyADay. Okay, the next thing that I have to show you is something I'm wicked excited about. I've been knitting teeny tiny things other than the little sweater. But I got a book for Christmas from my friend Bethany called Knitting Mochi Mochi. Right there. There we go. And as you can see, it is more than 40 itty-bitty minis to knit, wear, and give. And it features such awesome little teeny tiny things as the teeny tiny elephant. I made this and I immediately thought of puppy-sized elephants from, you know, John and Hank, the Vlogbrothers. So, itty-bitty teeny tiny elephant, which, as you may notice, matches the little sweater. Same yarn. I also knit, and this is my favorite teeny, and it is the teeniest. Him. Little teeny tiny dinosaur. See? Little face. Teeny tiny legs. The legs are like 4 stitches that you pick up from underneath the dinosaur, and then you knit them in as I-cord for 2 rows, and then you bind them off. So they are the tiniest little fiddly things. Little I-cord tail. He's itty bitty, and I love him. I'm thinking of making 2, and then doing earrings, because, you know, he'd be a good size for that. Point in the right direction. The other teeny thing I have was not from the Mochi Mochi book. It was from Rebecca Danger. It's one of her bunny nuggets, but it's also done in itty bitty teeny tiny yarn. And I love the bunny nugget pattern. I go crazy knitting these. They have the cutest little tails. This was a sample skein of yarn I got at Rhinebeck the first year that I went, so that was kind of cool. These are the perfect size to go with my new doll, so she's gotten to have little bitty stuffed animal type things to sit with her. Oh, in the doll front, there was one other thing that I wanted to show you. I made a messenger bag. It's a little bit big for her because it's kind of more like a giant duffel bag. Again, I made this after I had her, but I fail at correctly scaling, so it's really, really big. But it holds a teeny tiny book that I got for Christmas that was just the right size for doll props, and this teeny tiny box in which I'm keeping teeny tiny pencils that I made. Made them from toothpicks, but they are again just the perfect size for dolls to pretend to be writing in their little pretend books. So teeny tiny pencils. I'm gonna have to do knitting needles too. I haven't done any of those yet, just the teeny tiny pencils. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is my Cowboy Cowl. I'm knitting this as a knit along with my knitting group. You can see the colors. The colors don't come through as well. It's a nice orange yellow kind of. I'm not admitting there's any pink in it because I don't like pink, she said as she wore a pink shirt. Anyway, no pink, it's orange. It's orange, really. So it's this cool cowl, and it's got a cowl neck part and then a big long V that comes down like a cowboy's bandana in the front, and it buttons up the back. Cannot wait to wear it. And I'm knitting it in Dream in Color Classy, which is a superwash, I think it's superwash merino yarn, so it's really nice and soft. And we're doing it as a group with my knitting group, so it's extra fun. And the last cool project that I have to show is a work in progress that I want to get finished so that I can actually wear it. And it is Stephen West's Spectra. It's a shawl/scarf. And I'm knitting it with Mochi Plus rainbow yarn, so it will go all the way through the spectrum. Kind of got started to get green at that end, and I really like it. Can't wait till I wear it. It kind of curves, and it's done all with short row shaping, which is kind of like magic, and it's really cool. So I wicked like that. That's all I'm really working on at the moment. I'm also trying to participate in Ironcraft this year, which if you haven't heard of, you should take a look. If you Google Ironcraft, it will take you right to the blog that's hosting it, and I'll also put a link down in the doobly-doo for anybody that wants to check it out. What it is that every 2 weeks, Susie and Kat post a new challenge, and you have 2 weeks to do something related to that challenge. The first 2-week challenge, which I believe ends on the 17th, is paper. So you can do any kind of thing you want along with that theme of paper. So I'm working on some origami right now. I also thought about trying to make a paper mache dress form to go with my new doll so that I could try and, you know, design and pin clothes up on the dress form. Although I don't know if I'll be able to do it in paper. I might end up trying to do a duct tape dress form because I think that might be a little bit easier to work with, maybe a little easier to do with the doll. So yeah, that's what I'm up to. Ironcraft, granny squares, and making lots and lots of doll clothes. I did a little photo shoot with my doll, so my photography's getting a little bit better. And I put all those pictures up on my Flickr. There's hundreds of them, so if you're really not into the ball jointed dolls, you won't be interested. But if you're into them, you can see a ton more pictures up there, because we took a whole bunch, and so did Ellaby. She took a bunch of hers. I'm very interested in hearing from anybody else that's into ball jointed dolls, because we're working on learning to restring them and do all that kind of, and we're looking at doing hot glue sueding, which we've never done before. So if anyone out there has experience, I would love to hear from you and hear what your experiences were and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, teeny tiny dinosaurs, dolls, cowls, granny squares. That's all for me. Thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing some of your videos later. Bye.